Yo, better run the mic, it's the Krewe FC, the round table where the real heads be. Talking NFL, the game we adore, from the touchdowns to the legends and so much more. That fucking guy, he's got the stats on lock, dropping knowledge on the field, watching every block. Back and bleeding green, cheering loud and proud. In the sea of cheese, heavy standing out the crowd. I can't hear Andy with the looks and the smarts, breaking down the plays and he does it with heart. Then the stout, solid like the line. His takes are heavy, his vision's divine. Week by week, we break the game down, from every big play to every new crown. Offense, defense, we cover it all, from the springtime drafts to the winner's last call. Not just a podcast, it's a fan's lifeline, connecting every moment from the vines to the shine. So if you love football, come join the hype. The Krewe FC round table, we're your type, embracing every team from the east to the west. In the world of pigskin, we only talk to the best. Yeah, we laugh, we argue, we cheer, we boo, but at the end of the day, it's all love that's true. From the heart of the fans to the field's bright lights, the Krewe FC got your football nights. So crank up the volume, get ready to dive in. The Krewe is here, let the discussions begin. NFL world in a whole new flavor. The Krewe FC roundtable, your football savior.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Week 6 NFL. We got the Bears on already. How we doing?
The Bears are playing already? Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, they're kind of hibernating right now, but they're on, if that counts.
They're on the boob tube. All right, got it.
3-0 to Jacksonville. So, anyway. Andy, how did we fare in the storms?
Good, actually. Like I said, we had actually lost power for a split second or two, and fortunately, of the over 1,000 tornadoes that went through the area, everything turned out quite well for us. Thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Hearts and prayers, of course, do go out to the ones who were, affected the most, and literally just a few miles from the house. So,
yeah, it's pretty rough. Got some friends and family down there, so prayers go out to all you down in that area that have been affected by the storms. Now let's get off of a topic we have no control over, and let's talk about something else we have no control over: NFL football. Andy, who's out today for the Bears?
People, places, and things. Actually, quite a few people. The problem is their key positions. So I don't know if it was because of the hit that he laid on I forget his name, that he of course fumbled the ball, but concussion protocol. Jaquan Brisker is actually out for the Bears, of course, defensive back. Zach Pickens, of course, is still out with a groin. Terrell Smith, of course, DB, he's out. We have a couple of questionables. Tevin Jenkins, who will probably end up playing, and Tyreek Stevenson is doubtful. You'll have Jacob Martin and Mercedes Lewis also on there. Jacob Martin, of course, defensive line. He is out. You have several different questionable and unspecified. The only real out player that I see actually for Jacksonville is actually Tyson Campbell, quarterback.
Yeah, the corner. Yes,
Other than that, they're relatively healthy.
Hey, so Bears are down 3 right now. It's early in the game. What are you guys' thoughts on these early morning kickoffs? A game being, pushed abroad, trying to grow the market and even, grow the game even further, grow the brand even further. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Do you guys like these? Do you not like them? Is there anywhere you'd like them to move the NFL so we can see a game played there? I mean, you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts.
Go ahead.
I could put them on the air. I think it's dumb.
I agree a little bit, but
we got people here complaining that they want teams back to come to their state or city or whatever, and we're playing. They're keep on talking about moving a team here, moving a team there. I mean, I get if you're playing one game a year, that's fine, but the rumors of them trying to move teams overseas is just no.
Yeah. The logistics of it are going to be difficult, but
Exactly. So if you first off, you have one or two teams that are actually overseas. Now you would have to have at least several teams over there in order to be able for them to kind of sort of play each other before they either have to come over here or we have to go over there. Because you look at, depending on where you're at, you're looking at a 5 or 6 hour flight, jet lag and the entirety of the thing. So you would have to Sunday game, you'd have to get in Thursday, so you can get acclimated, of course, to the different weather, the different time zones, the different this, that, the other. I just think it'd be a little bit too difficult for at least like right off. If you're only going to have like one or two teams, what was it, like Germany and London or something like that, or Great Britain?
Yeah, that's where they're playing in Germany, London, Brazil. The most recent, their talks of playing in Ireland and a couple other areas. My issue with it is it's logistically it's not feasible. You'd have to put a whole conference, like a European conference, and they would have to be interlocking European conference. You know what I mean? It'd have to be something that you can get to within like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Basically what I just said about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, no, I get that. But what I'm saying is so you're not looking at one team expansion. Now you're looking at adding what, 4 teams minimum? So then what? You move into 18 games, 20 games? I mean, it's getting to be the point where it's.
So the only good thing about that is, with Europe and things like that being so close, I mean, literally within 2 hours, you can be in 4 or 5 different countries. You're not going to be, for example, like even Greater Britannia, you can take the old channel, head over to France, play the Ratatouilles, I don't know, whoever you're playing.
Well, NFL Europe was marginally successful for a couple seasons. Then it kind of fizzled out. Now there are all these little – it's almost like semi-pro is here, there. You got better caliber players because they're going overseas, they're getting homes, they're getting good stipend and whatnot, whatever. But it's just little leagues like the Italian league. There's what is it called? EFL, the European Football League. There's all these little leagues, so to speak. Just why have we not just decided, you know what? Let's try some games in Canada. Let's try some games in Mexico. These are all feasible. These are all places we can actually grow the game and improve the brand. Instead, we're going to Ireland. We're going to England. We're going, those are flights.
Long flights.
Yeah, but you can't necessarily go to Canada because they have a kind of a different league up there.
They do, but they play American football. We played Windsor. I mean, Windsor has an American
style. Now, if you want to have like some sort of like a type of game where you got the Super Bowl and the versus the Grey Cup, champions or something like that, I think that would actually be kind of exciting.
That would
you could truly be a world champion.
The caliber of athlete that plays in the NFL and the caliber of athlete that plays in the Canadian Football League are vastly. That the chasm between the two is ridiculous.
Okay, I will say I disagree with a caveat. I mean, I understand exactly what you're talking about. However, you do have a lot of the players that actually work here go to Canada. I mean, they're certainly no slouch. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying, I'm a huge fan of the Canadian Football League because, some of the rules that they have, 35,000 yard end zone, it's just weird how some of those things are. And that's fine. So, but, I definitely don't want to say it's a caliber player because it's a team game. You can have a Grey Cup, winner come in and actually be the Super Bowl champion just because you have a bunch of prima donnas or at least people who are, on this, that, the other. I'm going to come in and wipe these guys up. Next thing you know, they lose 30 to 3.
Let's start it off easier. Let's let the Grey Cup play like our 2 worst teams. Like
I was going to say,
the Cowboys,
the Browns, and the Bears. Let's
the Cowboys and Bucs.
The Browns and the Bears, and see if they can win that game. So
let's actually talk
seriously
about the person who isn't here. So let's just say Green Bay Packers. That'll be the easy one.
Fair enough. That's a good way to get off the subject. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. No.
That he can't defend himself.
Seriously, what are your keys for the Bears winning today? I mean, they're going against the Jaguars. they're
Scoring more
basically
points.
yeah, that's usually the coach's plan. The Jags don't really have much going for them right now this year. They kind of seem to be without identity. The Bears actually are in the toughest conference in the league right now with so many teams above 500 and fighting for that top spot. If Minnesota falters a game or two, you're all in it. So how they beat the Jags?
So you have a couple of people who are questionable for Jacksonville, and those are actually key positions as well, including Gabe Davis, like I said, UCF, fantastic. Wide receiver. So I know it's not a Division III team like Florida State. Calm down. I got your blabbing right here. So, but if the Bears, and see, this is also the problem because you've got you had the offensive line that for some reason they were cohesive, they were blocking, they were moving, they were doing everything that they're supposed to do. Now, as long as they can actually do that this game, I think eventually the Bears gonna start scoring a point or two here and there, and they can hopefully get a maybe a solid 2, maybe 7 to 10 point victory.
Caleb Williams. Is he going to be a top 3 fantasy quarterback this week?
Of course, why not? 3 touchdowns.
He was just outside of it just this past week. So you get him clicking, you guys might be a good team to actually start putting bets on.
And it's funny, there are certain things that he's doing now that he didn't necessarily do before. Looking off safeties and things like that. Things it's the little things that in the NFL, especially with quarterbacking. Again, you look off that safety. Next thing you know, he's that extra 3 or 4 yards away that he's not going to be able to catch up once the ball gets there. DJ Moore had a couple of touchdowns that way. To the point where there's those tiny little things. That he's starting to do right, and hopefully, as long as his ceiling is high enough, that he should actually end up being much better than than even expected. Everybody's expecting, of course, huge things from him being the number 1 pick, and now he's starting to kind of sort of turn that corner. So, again, with the injuries and things like that, once just as long, in my opinion, that you don't lose Billings in the middle on defense. Just simply because he does so much for you. He of course can 1, possibly 2, a couple of times I've seen even 3 offensive linemen to block him, and that of course opens up everything else for everybody else. So as long as Keenan Allen, of course, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, running backs and tight ends are doing well enough, moving the ball, I think the Bears should hopefully win.
Just made a huge play. Cole Kmet down to the touchdown. Bears touchdown.
He's down to the touchdown. All right.
He got tackled and then lunged over the goal line. So
that's what I'm saying. As long as you can get some sort of an offensive line cohesion that they can actually keep the quarterback upright and not scrambling all over the place, he has that opportunity to at least find somebody open, or they can work themselves open like Cole Kmet apparently just did. So
yeah, it was nice. It was looked like it was going to be a quick flat to the halfback. Pump fake, got the defensive lineman to jump, and Cole Kmet came right over the middle in the seam and broke a tackle to get in the end zone. So, good question. Answer is yes.
It's always yes with him.
No, he's hard to drop because he's got so much potential. So if you have someone that you can play instead of him, you keep him and you play defense. That's what I call fantasy football defense. You got someone like, I don't know, Malik Neighbors that is injured this week and you need him. You need somebody, you keep him just because so that no one else can get him when you throw him on the trash heap. But anyway, Bears are up 7-3. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Bears game today?
I hope they lose. How's that? Is that good enough?
That works for me.
No, I mean after seeing the game last week, you kind of got a flash of what Caleb Williams can possibly do, especially like Andy said, keeping him upright with that offensive line. You kind of got a sneak peek of, oh, okay. I mean, after how many weeks now of watching him scramble, run for his life, but I think if they got a little bit more building blocks to get, I think just the quarterback's not going to help. But
yeah,
I mean, you kind of see it, but it's also the Bears. They'll find a way to,
You know what sucks for Caleb Williams right now? Not only the fact that he plays for the Bears, and I don't mean that negatively towards the Bears. I'm saying because he's going into a team where he's got such high expectations to be that franchise player. You've got a second pick in Jaden Daniels destroying over in Washington. And it's not all Daniels. It's a lot Daniels. I mean, he's doing big things. He's, like I said, he's the best quarterback in that draft. I said that day one. I still think that. But he's got a lot less pressure on him because wasn't expected to do much. Now he's getting more pressure because he's shown what he can do, so they're going to expect that. But Caleb Williams, he's going to have this elevator up and down roller coaster ride for a while until he stabilizes that, until the Bears stabilize that offensive line and give him some actual time to improve his decision making and read defense. But I think they're on the right path. Go ahead, Andy.
But you also have two different style of quarterbacks, though. You have Caleb Williams, who is athletic, but he tends to be more of a pocket type passer, whereas Jaden Daniels, of course, he's not necessarily, of course, like a Lamar out of Baltimore, but he has that type of skill set that if something goes kind of wonky, he's gone. So I mean, I understand that you're kind of like apples to apples or apples to oranges, really, because you have two different styles of quarterback. So if you had the choice of a pocket passer or a runner like that, I mean, who would you actually pick?
Yeah, again. It comes to your offensive. It comes down to your offensive coordinator having the talent to build around his talent. You know what I mean? You've got to. It's the players, not the plays, right? Does that make sense? When you're in.
Look, every year we go through this with these rookie quarterbacks. It's week 6, and Jay, there's always the one that looks really good and then falls off. And then you got the other one that doesn't look good and then starts doing well. And then now you got Caleb Williams, who's up and down and shows flashes.
Well, Caleb Williams is playing like a rookie quarterback. He's going to show you, hey, I have this high ceiling, and he's going to show you this is my floor. You just don't want that floor to be way down here. You need it to be somewhere, at a winnable rate. With this comment here, right, from Sean Spencer, he says he hates a Lamar comparison. I'd say JD is more similar to Russell Wilson. And I would say he's more similar, and I know you don't want to hear this being a Washington fan, to Robert Griffin III. He's got the same body type. He's more elusive than RG3. He's got a better arm than RG3, but they have the same playing style, and they're both very reckless. And until Jaden Daniels figures out how to keep himself safe, you might have that issue. But anyway, there's some more games than the Bears beating Jags today, which I think you'll hear in my pick 6. Arizona at Green Bay. Green Bay's favorite at 5.5. Pax got Wyatt out with an ankle. Other than that, everyone else is pretty much healthy. Watson is questionable with an ankle, expected to play. And you got a couple linemen that are questionable. And like we all know linemen aren't that important. So let's go on to Arizona.
Yeah. Okay. Keep it up over there.
Arizona, only two players they have out is Jones and Robinson. Jones, a wide receiver, Robinson, the defensive lineman. Big for Arizona is Prater being questionable. His plant leg is injured. And if you're a kicker and you can't, I know it's a kicker and it's not really a football player. I've heard it all before. But if that kicker can't plant, you're not going to get the same scoring possibilities. You're going to have to actually put 6 instead of 3 on the board. And that could be a huge sway in this game. I think Green Bay wins by 16. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game.
Who's the kicker for the Cardinals?
Prater.
UCF?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It took a second. I picked Green Bay. I want them to win only because, I actually won our little pick six last week. If anybody was paying attention, I actually crushed everyone here, destroyed, annihilated.
Well,
I think it was like 1 or 2
thanks
points.
for saving it to the pick six segment.
Yeah.
Gee, we're not even going to do it. You're not even going to get your praise.
No.
I praise
Do you
myself.
not know how this works anymore? You just start blabbing again, going off.
Now, with the fact that I wanted Green Bay to win only because I picked them, the Cardinals do have they got that short little quarterback that can do some stuff. He can throw the ball. He can run around. He can be elusive. And with Green Bay secondary, I think there's a few guys there that were injured.
Yeah.
Or at least that they're kind of So the Cardinals might be able to make a game out of this. I don't know about 16 points, but they might be able to make a game out of this.
With
I'm sorry, I had an itch.
that was all stout.
Yeah. I don't know if he's gonna be playing or not.
Yeah, with Murray, you've got to worry about him answering the call of duty.
Yeah.
Good one. I did that.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
So I got it.
We need a boo button.
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
It was terrible.
That was bad. Anyway, so like I said, I think Green Bay wins by 2+. Take your finger off the button, Steph. What are your thoughts on that?
Annoying, isn't it?
We went from 5 viewers to 1.
Yeah.
Because of you guys.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. Anyway.
Green Bay's got it. I think Green Bay ends up pulling this one out by 10 against Arizona. So there you go.
That leaves us one more game in the North that it kind of ties into terrible team in the Dallas.
Yeah, the East. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. Terrible team that's 3-2 somehow. Don't know. The sky's still falling in Dallas. So. Well, injury report, for the Lions, they got a bunch of people on IR, but it's they're still messed up. Yeah, I don't listen to Washington fans, so I just ignore those. Same with Eagles fans and Giants fans.
Anyway, injury report.
Lions are just beat up, dude. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while now. They're still beat up. For Dallas, the biggest one that I guess anybody cares about this game is Micah Parsons is out. So I don't know how that's gonna do, and that I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. So I mean, Bland's still on IR, and then Kendrick, our linebacker's out. So our defense is kind of hurting, and I picked nobody. This is going to be a tie, I think. But if after last year, after what happened last year in that game, I think Detroit comes in with a chip on their shoulder, and of course we're playing at home, so that means we're probably going to lose because we can't win. No, not really. Not at all.
So if Detroit comes in, go ahead, finish your thought.
No, we're playing at home, dude. We there's no home field advantage in Dallas. There's none.
To be honest, there's little home field advantage in any NFL city.
Yeah,
unless you're a cold weather city.
We go away and we play well when we play away. But when we come home, it's like we like get way too comfortable or something because it's terrible.
Also, because we're not in KC, that's why.
He's just torching you, bro. But
whatever.
But seriously. What sucks about being a warm city team is that fans travel. Fans look at that as a vacation destination, and they're going to go watch their team in a warm climate and get away from the miserable doldrums of fall and winter, right? So there is no real home field advantage in the NFL except for, like, you're used to playing in that kind of weather. Like with the Bucs, they're used to playing outside in the heat. They also have the advantage of wearing the white jerseys outside. It makes sense. But in Dallas, you're inside.
I know.
You know what I mean? So there's – what's that, Andy?
So unless you go overseas, play a neutral stadium.
Right. Well, but seriously, I mean, that sucks about being a warm weather team.
The issue is too, you got, season ticket holders selling their tickets for, whatever, double the price to the opposite team and all that stuff anymore. There's like really in the NFL no loyalty of, I'm not selling you tickets because we want to be here, And hell,
you can sell two season games and pay for your tickets though. I mean, let's be realistic.
Well, that's what we were talking about last night. I mean, that tied in like what we're talking about. My mother-in-law, they went to Minnesota for a wedding when 49ers were coming up, and their plane was filled with 49er fans. I mean, we were talking about how much it costs just to go get on a plane, get the tickets, and it's expensive anymore, dude. Like, it's interesting that people got that to go do that and go to see different games like this.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Especially when you're going to Jerry's World and the tickets are expensive,
I get it, but there's people like, I don't know, me that want to go to all 30 all stadiums. You know what I mean?
Me too. I mean, I got 5 down of,
right.
the 30.
No, I feel you.
So
but so seriously, in Detroit, if Detroit goes to Dallas and can sling the rock, no pressure from their edge, no pressure from Dallas's defensive line. You force them to go zone. Jared Goff's going to pick you apart.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff is going to pick the meat off of that bone so badly.
He's gross. I mean, my thing is, it looks like our corners are doing pretty good this year. But yeah, if we go zone, we're screwed. But we got. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think it's going to be good. So.
What you're saying, let me just cut this segment over right now. What you're saying, Stout, is the sky is falling in Dallas. Since 1996, the sky is falling in Dallas.
It's been falling, dude. So it's always been falling. I got no confidence. Till Jerry goes away, I got no confidence whatsoever. So, but yeah, I do. You're right. If they go zone, Golf's going to pick them apart, and then they're going to be back on their heels, and then they're going to start running, and that's the way.
It's so funny because you're like, that's the way.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
But
it's the only one. So.
Yeah.
No, it's just that the injuries that Dallas have, actually, Micah Parsons and stuff like that, they don't match well with the injuries that Detroit has. If that makes sense, you have, if you were to have, your defensive end and your tackle actually both injured, then they're both rookies or they're both first, second year guys, who are going against each other. But if you got an experienced offensive line and now you have a first or second year defensive end, that's not going to score very well as far as with your defense, overall defensive scheme, and that's why I think Detroit's probably going to end up rolling a little bit on this. It's not going to be like a 16 points, nothing like that, but it'll definitely be more than a touchdown, simply because of that.
I want the over-under and how there's going to be a flag this year in Dallas that gives Detroit the heads up, with it. But also the biggest worry about this game that I have is our rookie tackle is going to end up – they're going to put Aiden Hutchinson on a rookie tackle. And he's going to get he's going to get welcome. I think this is going to be his big welcome to the NFL moment. Is
Yeah, he's going to
how well
get
he
put
can
on a
handle
wash
it,
cycle.
how well
Yeah.
that's going to happen, and that'll determine what we can do. So, and if our quarterback can not throw it to the other team, with that $60 million arm he's got, we might be all right. So,
Yeah.
So, but
Dallas is frustrating, man. I don't know how you can. I mean, I get it. I get fandom, and I know how it works, but I just don't know how you wake up every day and are like, well, every Sunday, and are like, okay, we got a chance. And realistically, every Sunday, Dallas has a chance because they are a talented team. They have the talented players on that team. And then you get, preseason, your defensive coordinator who's giving you guys one of the best defenses in the league year after year goes to
Washington.
That's right.
Yes.
And now he's got Washington's defense looking – what's what I'm looking for? Good.
Yeah.
And now you got the Dallas defense looking suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's saying it's McCarthy's issue, but is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. We've talked about this for I've talked about it since he's been here. When your offense is we've talked about this in the past. When you go 3 and out, or you get one first down, your defense doesn't get any rest. I mean, because the defensive people, they whine so much if they have to go in and play football more than they should. Like we knew somebody that used to do all the time. But anyways, you can't be doing that in the NFL, and even in college, you can't constantly just go 3 and out or get one first down, and your defense doesn't get a break. It don't matter how good you are. By the time then the third quarter, fourth quarter comes out, you're burnt. And that's what happens. And I was happy with Mike Zimmer coming back to Dallas. I thought, okay, well, we're not going to lose too much, but something's off, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I just think that your defense has taken a giant step back, and it's made your offense play catch up, I guess, instead of standing in front. You know what I mean? They're having to pass more. You've taken the ball out of your running game. You're forcing Dak Prescott to be the quarterback, and that you're paying him to be. But is he really that kind of quarterback? He puts up good numbers. He has good yardage. He doesn't throw. I don't want to say a lot of interceptions because he has his fair share of interceptions, but he doesn't make the play when you need him to make the play.
Yeah,
I just don't know if
the biggest problem since then. But you also got this is what I said last year when we talked about, and I think Brian asked me. Dallas lives by the big play on defense.
You're not getting it.
The past two seasons. I mean, last year was bland. He's out because Trayvon went down. The year before was Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons making, scoop and score or whatever. Dallas' defense is built to live by the big play, and you can't have that. And when you don't have those big plays, it kind of hurts. So, and but we'll transition into, since we brought up Washington, we'll transition to that game and cover that real quick, which I think is going to be an interesting game to see since they're so close. One, playing the Baltimore Ravens and basically taking a bus to go to play each other. So it looks like for Baltimore, Humphreys is questionable. Their backup running back is questionable. And it looks like one of the receivers, Hardy, is questionable. And they still have Harrison's for Baltimore. And for Washington, they're basically healthy, but their big one for this game is Brian Robinson, I think, is out, junior, the running back. And
Right.
that's kind of a big hurt for them because he's been doing pretty well. And then their safety, Ty Owens, is out for Washington. And I'm not even going to try to say his name, but their defensive end, I think he's the backup defensive end. He's questionable to play today. So,
Well, go ahead and get into Baltimore's report. I have thoughts on this game. Okay, I'll go. So this is going to be the game where you see if Daniels is the guy, right? Even if they lose, if Washington puts up, and I know there's no moral victories in the NFL. There are no, hey, we did this, give me an attaboy. However, if Daniels can play well enough to keep them in the game, if he doesn't have the big turnover, if he doesn't have that, deer in the headlight look when he's looking at, the Ravens defense, I think he can keep them in it. Now, the question is can the Washington defense stand up to the skill set of Lamar Jackson in combination with King Henry, who looks like he's 24 years old again?
And we'll see. And we'll see what I know. Washington, I'm not, all the games are hard to NFL, but they're 4-1. Now they're going to be playing a really good, I think, caliber team in Baltimore that's consistently good. We'll see what happens.
4-1. Who beat Washington?
I don't know. Some team I did pick that I should have. So that we will see how well they do. I think we'll get to see how well that defense is. See how well, like you said, Jaden Daniels handles that defense, and we'll get to see what we can actually, So we'll see.
I think this game, along with most games in the NFL, are going to be won in the trenches. I think this game is another one that's going to, you're going to look to this game and say, hey, this offensive line is for real in Washington, or this Washington defense is suspect. It's going to be one of those two things. I think the offensive line can win it for Washington. In the same sense, I think the defensive front seven can lose this game outright for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, I get it. And I think this is going to be a good game to it's going to be I think this is going to be like the game of the week to watch. So
the show came to a screeching halt. Everybody's watching the Bears game.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching the Bears game. Andy's watching the Bears game. Mike and I are having a conversation.
Yeah.
It was. I'm just saying because I've read books that were more entertaining than this conversation.
Get out of here.
Whatever.
These are textbooks I'm talking about.
I really do like this game's going to be interesting to watch.
What are your thoughts on this game, Andy?
You're talking about two good teams,
Yeah.
but you're not talking about two good teams. I'm sorry, it's just one of those things.
Well, they're not the Chicago Bears, there, Andy.
Nobody is except for
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, Bears.
Speaking of nobody is the Chicago Bears, Mike, you got anything else in your conference or in your division?
Yeah, we got one more game we'll cover real quick because it's the Eagles versus the Browns, a big whopping. We'll see what happens there.
I can't stand Browns football.
Until Deshaun Watson's got to go bye-bye.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all I want to talk about. Like, I don't want to talk about the Eagles at all. It's like, what are they doing? Get rid of Deshaun Watson. Like, this is terrible. Like, he just completely walked off the field when his coaches give him instructions. Like, at what point do you just be like, dude, we're done?
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious the head coach has no say in who's playing right now.
Oh, yeah. So,
But
who you
got injured? What do you got going this game?
Well, I mean, the Eagles still have the people that have been on the IR since, basically the start of the season. So, I mean, no real big changes there. Same with the Browns, besides, who was it? Hurst, their defensive tackle, and their one linebacker's out, their center is out too for the Browns. So, which was interesting to see their center out. I heard it was a cramp, and I thought somebody might be able to help him out with a massage, but I guess that
Come on, bro.
he doesn't want to help his own center out. So,
Low hanging fruit, man. Low hanging fruit.
I'm going to take it every time too. I don't care. But this right here for the Eagles is going to be. They've been struggling, and if this is going to be, that has to be their turnaround game, or their season's going to get ugly fast. And
Yeah, it's
when I've been kind of patiently waiting to see what happens with the Eagles, but look, when you take a great center and he retires, I've been waiting to say this for a while now. You take him away, and your team starts to not look good. Maybe it was the center.
no, I agree. I said that it was going to be a big impact on the game for the Philly this year is the fact that Kelsey retires. It changes everything, that offensive line. He's your captain. He makes the line calls.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, what are your thoughts on this game?
That's not the Bears. He doesn't care. What are we talking about?
All right, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
What was that,
So
Andy?
that's what see Philadelphia pulling this one out. So
You don't see Philly pulling it out?
I really don't. For a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't care.
All right, we're just gonna gloss over this game and head into the South.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. So, two very different games in the NFC South this week.
so we're going from the frying pan of suck into the fire of suck, is what you're telling me.
So, shut your face. Two different games, really. I mean, two hugely different games on both sides of the spectrum. You got Atlanta going to Carolina. Atlanta is 2-0 in the conference or in the division, 3-2 overall. They're favored by 6. They are pretty much completely healthy. You got Anderson, their linebacker, out. Landon is questionable but expected to play. But Carolina has 3 pages of injuries on this injury report. They're on their third string center now because Corbett is still out with a bicep injury. Jewell, their linebacker, is out with a hammy. Their right tackle, Morton, is out with an elbow. And their tight end, Tremble, is still out with concussion. And their starting center is out with concussion as well. So they are down to their third string center, which is huge. And then you have Jadeveon Clowney, who's doubtful with the shoulder injury. But let's face it, he hasn't made a play since college. So whatever. Having said that, Falcons, like I said, favored by 6, coming to this game atop the division. I always say I don't want to say it because any given Sunday in the NFL, but this is a bye week. I don't know if it goes any other way. I should have put Atlanta 6 in my confidence picks or in my pick 6, but they're Atlanta, and I hate Atlanta, so whatever. But, yeah, I think Atlanta rolls again this week. Kirk Cousins is on track.
Okay. Well, I know you got excited about going to the South, and but we still missed a game in the East. Not that anybody cares, but Cincinnati and the Giants play Sunday night. Yay, football on Sunday night. The worst games that can be played on Sunday night.
Anyway, we're glossing over. Glossing over.
I am now.
Anyway, so what are your thoughts on this Atlanta game? Do you think the Panthers? How can the Panthers win? I mean, other than an injury to, let's say, Kirk Cousins, is there a chance for Carolina? I mean, I don't see it.
Can I tell you my opinion? Anything about the South, I could give really 2 craps about. I mean, this segment every time drives me nuts. I'd rather talk about having you go off about the Bears.
And just for that, you've both been muted. All right. So let's go to a game that is like win or go home for both teams. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into New Orleans to face the Saints.
Come marching in. Let's go, Saints.
Saints are on a tear of 2 losses in a row. They are hosting the Bucs. Taysom Hill is out with a rib injury. Derek Carr is out with an ovarian injury. Harris is out with a hammy, and Werner is out with a hammy. Defensive end Turner is questionable. Offensive lineman Patrick is questionable with a heart injury, meaning that they have none. And Miller is going to play, but it's questionable with a hammy. It's their running back. He should be seeing time with Kamara in the rotation. For the Bucs, it's another long day on the injury report. Center Graham Barton is out. Rookie center started. And so far, every game this season is out with a hamstring injury. Brown is out with a rib injury along the defensive line. Defensive back Izian is out, who has been playing in relief of Antoine Winfield Jr. Johnson is out with an ankle injury as your wide receiver, and Palmer is still in concussion protocol, leaving the Bucs with only 5 wide receivers taken in this game. Rashad White is doubtful, but I'm not expecting him to play at running back. You're going to see a lot of Bucky Irving today, and Sean Tucker should be in the mix at the running back position. Kalijah Kancey should make his debut today for the NFL season. McMillan is questionable. I don't think he plays. Luke Gadecki has cleared concussion protocol and is expected to play. Jordan Whitehead has a groin injury but is expected to play. And Winfield Jr. is actually a game-time decision. We could see the tandem of Winfield and Whitehead together again. First time since week 1. I think will be huge. Big topic of this game is Spencer Rattler. Saints, without Carr, are going to the rookie. Bucs, Todd Bowles is 11-6 against rookie quarterbacks. That's a 67% winning percentage. Bucs fans don't feel easy when you see a rookie quarterback in the mix. I'm going to ask you guys first honest opinions on how either team can win this game or how you see this game going. I know neither of you really follow the Saints or the Bucs, but if you're a football fan, you're a football fan, so you know what's going on. So, Andy, give me your thoughts.
So, there again, I think we've talked about this on several occasions. How you don't necessarily have that film on your rookie quarterback, so you're going to have a couple of things. You're going to have an advantage to the Saints in this particular case. Rattler's kind of an interesting thing because if he's on, he's on. If he's not, boy, is he not. And so, if he's does like a Taysom Hill kind of a thing, where he's kind of like, moving the pocket again. He's moving the pocket. He's actually throwing the ball downhill and stuff. I think the Bucs are going to end up having a bit of an issue. Now, with that being said, I don't necessarily see any sort of major offensive firepower that the Saints have currently with their injuries and and things like that, especially with their quarterback. I don't necessarily see it being any sort of a major blowout, but I think the Bucs are probably going to end up pulling this one out. I'd say probably less than 5 points. But it is kind of one of those things. You might have a Rattler who might he might end up going for throw a touchdown, run a touchdown, maybe a pick.
Yeah, he's
150, 200 yards. It's one of those things.
He's dual threat for sure.
But that's the other thing too, because you have that offensive line in New Orleans, who again is also kind of as Sean Spencer said, streaky. They might have a good game this game, but then they're not going to necessarily have a good game that game. So you're Kamara and all these other guys may or may not have that time to be able to actually do what they are hopefully going to get done. So I don't necessarily see the Saints winning, but I don't think it's going to be any sort of a blowout. And how's Vea doing? Is he back?
Vea's back. 2 games back, 2 sacks. So it's good to have the big man in the middle back. You also got Kalijah Kancey making his 2024 debut, who's got one of the quickest staffs off the defensive line in the league. Stout, give me your thoughts on this game.
So, I'm going to start off with, so you said Bucky Irving is going to be starting today?
Correct. That's a definite play.
Give me 1 second.
Right.
Andy covered it pretty well with having a rookie quarterback because you have no film. You don't know, what's going to happen. But also, the Bucs usually don't fare well, if I remember, against a mobile quarterback.
Well, you'd say that until this year, where they're 2-0.
Yeah. So with not having any tape and Spencer Rattler known a little bit to take off when he has to, I think that's going to be the issue for the Bucs. I think if they can control that, defense can. Offensively, I think the Bucs need to. That Saints defense is pretty decent. So are you going to be able to run it on? If I was the Bucs, I'd give the ball to Bucky Irving as much as possible and see what he could do. That's just my assessment for over here. But you got Baker Mayfield, and basically he's outperforming Patrick Mahomes.
He's outperforming a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL.
And I got him in this week, and he'll probably lay a dud for me. But I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to do something I did last week, and I'm going to pick the Bucs to win this game. I think the Bucs will win. And Mike,
great. Thanks,
you know exactly why I picked the Bucs, because
anyway,
they're going to lose. But I do. Let's get. Basically, it's going to see how well Baker Mayfield does throwing the ball.
I think you're onto something really with your Bucky Irving comment. I think you're truly onto something there, because Bucky Irving is a big playback. He's always got that potential to spring one big. 20, 25, 40, he's got that big play potential. Whereas Rachaad White has that, but usually Rachaad White's big play potential is the screen game and the passing game. I think this bust today is going to be driven by Chris Godwin. You're going to see Lattimore and Evans fighting all day. They're probably going to get them coming to fisticuffs. Usually happens. It's honestly one of my favorite things about this rivalry. I hate that Evans can't keep his cool and keep his composure, but it's nice to see two, I don't want to say professionals, but just saying they end up going into fisticuffs, but it's good to see two people that are great at their craft going against each other, and they match up well against each other. But I think Godwin is the gas for this offense today. You're going to see a lot of Chris Godwin, and Cade Otton, I do believe, is going to have a big game today as well. New Orleans is not really good in pass coverage with tight ends. Like I said, like the Bucs, they're not great in anything over the middle right now because of injury. But we might see a change in that if Winfield Jr. can play, and if Whitehead plays, you'll see a Levante David that's more able to roam and do his job in the center of the defense. But like always, I got the Bucs winning, but we'll see what happens.
So do I.
Shut up, Mike. So we got a plug we got to get to, and then we're going to get to our pick six. We ready for pick six, gentlemen?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get after this. All right, before we get into this, I want you guys to all grab your umbrellas if you go outside today, because I saw a pig fly over my house. Because, Andy, how do you win pick six?
I got skills.
What? If I get hit with manure today walking outside, I'm a very upset gentleman.
Yeah.
Hey, every time you open your mouth, it's manure. Bucks.
Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, so there we go.
Andy, you get the pick six. You take the lead. Let's go. Give us your picks.
I do believe that in consideration of the fact y'all are solid number twos. Actually, you're loose number two. Anyway, I do believe that it's going to probably take me about 35 to 40 minutes to actually give you my picks, only because I have that obligation to do so, because I'm Bears, of course, solid lock number 6. They are actually up 14-3 at half. Got Bengals at number. I got your blabbing right here. Bengals at number 5. Falcons number 4. Detroit. I'm going with the Detroit Lions. Is number 2. My solid 2.
3
is the Denver Broncos, and of course, I'm going to give Green Bay some sort of whatever. They're going to get 1 point. It's kind of one of those things.
Andy, I'm proud of you, buddy. I didn't think you could do it. I really didn't think you were able to pull it off, get a victory. It's unbelievable to me. You need to stand up and take a victory lap.
Open forum. We're trying to be professional. We're trying to be
take a lap. Stop. You and Brian tied again. So.
Yeah, well, I'll hit Brian's up. Brian, he can't be here, so he's got Houston at 6, got Chicago at 5, Cincinnati at 4, Atlanta at 3, Green Bay at 2, and Buffalo at 1. My picks, I'm going to try this again with Cincinnati. I got them at number 6. I got Houston at 5. I got the Eagles at 4. I got the Ravens beating that team from Washington there, Mr. Spencer, at number 3. The Bills at 2, and I took Dallas at 1 because I have to, and that's my picks.
Because it's an obligation. All right, here we go. I got Philly at 6, Houston at 5, Tampa at 4, Atlanta at 3, Chicago at 2, and just for my dad, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers getting the win this week.
The Steelers actually end up benching Justin Fields.
What's that?
Did the Steelers end up benching Justin Fields? I know there was some talk about having him have a seat.
Not that I saw. I couldn't tell you for certain. Lost something. So, anyway, last week's pick 6 was won by Derek Stevens of the Plunder. 16 points in the actual, I guess you'd say, community pick 'em or fan pick 'em, whatever you want to call it. We got quite a few entries this week. I will put them all on the website or on our Facebook page so you guys can actually see we are tracking that. And it, like I said, it's just fun to do. Anyway, gentlemen, do we have clothing? God, I can't. Why can't I never say that? Someone else is going to have to say that. Every show I end up with clothing thoughts. Closing thoughts.
There we go. When I could get it right, you should be able to get it right.
Yeah.
I'll go since I'm making Look, my closing thoughts. Let's see. My father-in-law's in town, so this house is going to be all Charger fans this weekend, I guess. I'm a Charger fan anyways because of Harbaugh, and I know it's not our forte of covering, but, the sky's still falling in Dallas, and I'll end with that.
Andy, what you got, man? Anything?
We got plenty. Go Bears.
All right. So once again, I'll close us out. Thoughts and prayers are with all those that were affected by the hurricane. This is, I guess you'd say, and I would like to thank all our families and our wives for allowing us to be idiots on the Sunday, 1 hour, and the hours that it takes you out the week to put this garbage together. Other than that, you all have a great weekend. Go Bucs.
Well, we're going to play this game again. Go Chargers.
Which way does he go, George? Which way does he go?
You suck, you jackass.